this is a quick tutorial on this mixing station app, which is going to be replacing our existing app since it's end of life. That means it can't be reinstalled on the Android App Store because they just stopped supporting it. So, okay, the process is similar. Just search and then Mixer should show up here, and you just connect and then boom, shows up here. Okay, so all the way from the top left right here, gain, right? You guys are familiar with this. Pan, left, right, of course, as usual. Cool feature. If you double click any setting, it goes back to like the 0 setting, basically. I think that also applies to EQ, does it actually? Oh, actually it does for EQ too. Great, so you can do that for EQ. Next section over here, compressor. So you guys are familiar with this. And then the UI difference is the mute channel is now up here instead of down at the bottom as it has been in the past, because that just helps prevent mistakes accidentally pressing mute when you're holding the app. Okay, so I mentioned before, if you double click or double touch, then it goes back to 0, which is great. Another useful feature is, let's say you have preacher. You always want to mute preacher and announcer separate of everyone else, like the worship band, right? So in most cases, there can be situations where maybe you want to just mute all vocalists, right? And so you can press this button over here to do that. And this can be done when musicians or instrumentalists, normally the piano or guitarist, are underscoring the pastor, right? So basically, pastor is transitioning between, sermon to praying before the response song, or between the response song to communion, right? You just want to mute all the singers and allow the instrument people to just play whatever it is they want to play to underscore the pastor music, right? And rare scenario, you probably won't be muting all instruments and leaving vocalists. Most likely you'll just end up muting both, right? But so this is just a quick way to do that. Okay, so let's say that. Another useful thing is in this app, they allow you to link 2 channels, right? So you notice piano left and right, stereo input, right? So you can change the volume at once instead of having to change both at the same time, which is a little bit more complicated. You mute one, it mutes the other also. You also change the gain, and then notice that it's changed over here too. It's 26, right? So moving after 20, boom, or 18.5. It's 18.5 on both channels. Cool, right? Okay, so that feature that link also exists for this one, which is normally assigned to my guitar, as well as the crowd mics, right? It just makes it much easier to handle both all those things instead of having to use 2 fingers, right? Which is kind of annoying, not harder. Okay, so there's that. The way you can set up links. So let's just say you have a situation where, hey, look, we have drummers, right? And we would like to link it. So it's just a matter of like just going through this channel and being like, okay, let's just pretend you changed piano left, or you got rid of like, any channel, and you just want to bring guitar and cajon and change that to like drum left, drum right or something. Let's just pretend. So the green rectangle represents the link, the channels that are linked. And then let's just say you want to go to scope and say that I want to link the gain. Typically you want to link the gain, the DCA mute group. Let's look at an existing one. It's a little easier to check on that. So edit, so scope, right? So really gain, DCA, gate. DCA is basically a group of channels assigned to one channel. I'll show that in a second. The all vocals and all instruments, basically. So gate, EQ, compressor, sends. These are basically the things that you would, the green stuff that are green. Those are really the only things that you'd want to link anyways. So you can do that if we come to a situation where, let's delete that one. If you wanted to do drums. Actually, I did do this for drums once, but notice that the channels here are not guitar cajon, but sometimes you have to change up the mixer, right, to adapt for the whatever team's up. You do have to activate it. So you notice on this over here, there's a status. Oh, status on, off, right? So you press toggle to turn things on or off. Right, so let's turn drums. Okay, let's get rid of that sort. Okay, you cannot get rid of that sort. Okay, whatever. Okay, so drums off, right? Acoustic guitar, that's normally me. I should say yen, honestly. And then really crowd mics on, and then piano on. So in this column, if it's on, then that means the link is actually active. So, okay, that took a while. But anyways, so I mentioned DCA. So you see down here, it says DCA, right? Oh, interesting. You can tap to go down. I didn't even know that. So DCA, all DCA means is I'm saying that channels 1 to 3, for example, are all assigned to this DCA, right? Because sometimes maybe we just want to all bump up the vocals just a little bit, but we can't a lot because that will cause distortion, or we just want to lower them for whatever reason. In most cases, you'll more likely be lowering the instruments down already, because maybe it's an intimate song where the instruments as a whole are too loud, right? You know, like let's say you start with guitar should be this soft, cajon should be that loud, and piano should be somewhere around here. This is just like makeup, right? But then you want all of them to get quieter, right? So that's where you have this DCA2 over here, aside where all the instruments are assigned to that DCA2, and you're lowering the volume for all of them, but not the main output, right? Which is the last thing that goes to the speakers. Yeah. So last thing is this, right? As you guys remember, this exists too. You can make another one, but you know, it's the same thing. You hold and then you just start like pressing any channel you want to add. And whenever you add stuff, it shows up on the bottom right corner over here. And then you can just move them, of course, to wherever you want them, or you can get rid of them. I think you drag it here, or you can click it up here too, where get rid of cajon, get piano left, right? Right, and then you just go back and it applies, right? And that's it. That's about all you guys need to know. So if you have any questions, well, you're welcome to ask me. See you later.